you're in the restaurant, which is why you are masked up, right?
Yes, we require everyone to wear a mask. We require everyone to. We have a temperature log for when people enter the restaurant. Um, we pay our staff to get tested for COVID every 2 weeks. We're pretty diligent about everything.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, it's challenging to run a restaurant at any time, and certainly doing it while trying to keep everybody safe in the middle of a pandemic is even trickier. So we last spoke, I think, in July, um, and a lot of things have changed. And I meant to write about it then, and then I got distracted because so many other things were going on. But we were talking about how, well, basically how hard it is to run restaurants, and what this sort of uh, pause, for lack of a better word, or shift in the way that restaurants operate have caused you to kind of rethink what the point is of running a restaurant. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair way. I mean, I think most restaurant people are always really thinking about why am I doing this? Because it's not really the most sane line of work for you to get into. But I mean, when we last spoke, um, we were still there were still some things that weren't super clear. Um, um, but then, once we got into the late parts of the summer and into the early fall, I think we all knew kind of, this it was our new normal, and so we, um, whatever things were coming our way were a little bit easier because we had already kind of figured out our here and now. And I think times like right now that, I mean, there's huge spikes. There's rules and guidelines are changing again, and so we find ourselves back in a place where we really don't know what to expect, and we we're in a business that has to plan. We don't go day by day. We figure things out day by day and hour by hour, but that's just out of necessity. But we can't really set ourselves up well if we can't plan a couple weeks, a couple months out. And I think that's where we're really hitting a roadblock again, which is real similar to how it was when this all first started. We were all panicking. We were all trying to figure out, okay, well, what can I do for right now, and what rules am I going to follow, and what rules am I going to kind of ride the line on. And I think that mentality is really, in my opinion at least, a part of why we are where we are. We have a lot of restaurants who aren't following the guidelines, and if the restaurants and business owners aren't setting that example and holding their guests and the public to these same rules and guidelines that you know we're being told by doctors and everyone, then it trickles down, and so people are a little bit more lenient and with their own interactions with other people. So I think this place that we're in right now of uncertainty again is the most challenging part of all of it.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazed that I mean, I live in New York City, where we've had 20,000, 30,000 some odd people die from COVID-19, and I still go out on the street when I go out, and people act like it's kind of a game. It's like I'll go to my farmer's market and people will stand in line 6 feet apart while they're going into the farmer's market. And it's an outdoor farmer's market, but then once they walk into the farmer's market, they basically climb all over each other and don't stay 6 feet apart. Like, they follow the rules when someone's watching, and otherwise they don't. And like, the virus is watching,
Yeah.
for lack of a better way of saying that. Um, and so, as you said, we have cases that are spiking because as much as you try to follow the rules, and you're wearing your mask now, and your staff is all masked up. And do you also require your guests to put their masks on when staff comes up to the table?
Yes. So when we seat our guests outside, we even though we were San Francisco um, did pass for the 25% indoor. I didn't feel like it was the right decision for our restaurant, and so we never moved forward with the indoor, which obviously now has been redacted and or taken back. And so but when we're seating guests, we let them know, we try to keep our reservations to 80 minutes. Please put your mask on anytime a staff member is approaching the table. And we've also trained our staff to um, utilize more nonverbal communication and check in with people from a little further back, not lingering at tables like we used to, which changes the dynamic of dining because you have less ability to make a connection with people. So our our level of hospitality just needs to be given in different manners.
So,
But yeah, we try to, and I think that we do actually get feedback from our guests of being grateful that we are providing a safe place for them, where we never have our tables closer than 6 feet apart. We really want to provide a comfortable atmosphere for people to dine in still.
so how do you do that kind of nonverbal communication? Do you sort of wave from a distance and hold a thumbs up or a thumbs down to see?
We try not to do that, but whether it's when you're asking someone if you can clear and you're holding your hands to more like point and make subtle hand gestures. We still need to stay professional, um, but it's tricky. It's really tricky, and a lot of people try and they see someone coming, they try to get their mask on again, and and part of it is also us approaching the tables less and making it less inconvenient for people to take their mask on, put it off, and that back and forth.
Yeah, I was at a family and friends night of a restaurant on Long Island that was obviously getting ready to open. And, I would try to put my mask on whenever staff came by, but they would sneak up on us. And I was like, wait. And, I don't go anywhere or do anything, so I don't think I'm infected, but who knows? And, it's just, I think, polite to put your mask on if somebody's nearby.
Yeah, and that's for me. That's one of the big things. It's just it's a new way for us. This has been a very interesting what 8 months now. Um, but it's just a new way of showing respect to the people around you, and respecting their space, and they might not have the same beliefs that you do, and but again, it's just in my mind, it's just a way that we show each other respect nowadays.
So, as you said, it's been an interesting 8 months. And uh, the last time we spoke, you talked about sort of taking stock on what it means to be a chef and a restaurant operator. That you know you guys work however many hours a week, and you kill yourselves to do it, and you often become sort of adrenaline addicted nuts in the kitchen and just struggling to survive. And have you taken stock in sort of changing the work-life balance in restaurants, or is that still impossible to do?
Um, I think for myself, like a lot of my friends and peers, it's a very challenging idea to begin with. I mean, we get into this business because it gives us something to really focus our drive on, and when we have passion in something, and it's very consuming. And so when you're young, you really don't have any responsibilities, and so you learn that this is just the norm. And you have all your friends next to you, and they're working as long as you are, if not more. And it's kind of how you joke around with each other by giving them crap about it. But then you get older, as I have, and you have a family, and they'd like to see you, and you'd like to see them. And so I've been trying harder than ever during these past 8 months to take stock in that, and try to set time aside and put my phone down, and not be checking emails as they're rolling in. And it's hard. Um, it's something that I have to strive for on a daily basis, which sounds silly, but it's just so ingrained in a lot of us. But like one of the things that I did when we opened for outdoor dining back in July was I only opened for 6 days a week instead of 7. And so I knew that that alone would guarantee me one day that I don't have to go into work. No one's going to be calling out from work. No one's calling me that something's on fire or they can't find something. It's a dark day. Um, and so, little things like that. Um, I'm trying hard, but it's challenging. The this way of life has just become the normal, and it's I guess everyone's different, but for me, it's not the hours, because any of us can work 14, 16 hours, because you just lose track of time. It just goes away. But it's the emotional stress and the mental stress that really takes a toll and really keeps you tired nowadays.
Right. So how do you uh, help your staff to do that as well? And what kind of benefits can you provide to your staff while still making ends meet uh, at Causwells?
Um, we provide full health care for everyone. Um, we make sure that they know that taking a sick day or taking a day just because you need one doesn't mean that you're getting fired. And when I say it, it sounds like common sense. But after talking to my staff and talking to those around me, to hear that that has happened to them in the past, that they're fearful for a reason, because if they don't do something or do something a different way, that they have the chance of being fired. And so it it creates this atmosphere of fear. And I think that alone is one of the things that I try to keep in mind all the time, that for me, human decency is a given. We treat people with respect. We treat people the way that we want to be treated. And I'm floored that it's just so hard for some people. And so I think that's one of the things, is we've done everything that we can to create a culture and to create a work environment that's positive, that is financially rewarding, because much of our staff is of the Latinx community, and might not have the opportunity for the same benefits that I do. Um, but the certainty of hours and a paycheck, um, those are those are worth more than healthcare.
And yet you give them healthcare too.
And we gave him healthcare. It's I don't know. I really just trying to do the right thing. I think that's at the end of the day, through all of this, is just no matter how hard it gets for me or the managers or the owners, we have to do the right thing, whether it hurts or not.
Well, Adam Rosenblum, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
It
And
was a pleasure.
and I hope you have excellent holidays and that we get through this. And I'll see you on the other side.
Sounds good. Take care. Happy holidays to you, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.